We all remember recess growing up in school. Recess was a time of day where you could have all the conversations that you could not have while in class. Recess is where you had the real conversations. And real conversations we're going to have. In each episode of the Recess Podcast, I'm going to have real conversations explaining students and school. I'm David McGuire, and I'll be your host. It's recess time, y'all. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday Eve, everybody. Dave McGuire here, host of the Recess Podcast. Excited to be back. This is episode 46. It's titled Train the Parent and Train the Child. And I told myself this as the start of the school year, I was going to take a little break from the Recess Podcast and kind of focus on my other job, my full-time job, leading a school. But when big news is out there floating and your family and your friends, they hit you up, and you see they doing something, you got to step out of hiatus and you got to do it. So I'm excited for this episode. I am going to be joined with some amazing folks who also helped me celebrate the 1-year anniversary. But before we do that, it's the Recess Podcast where we have real education conversations. So if you're tuning in, hop in the comments with us live. Let us know how you're doing. And if you listen to this later, I appreciate you always tuning in. Without further ado, I have two very special guests I'm going to bring on the screen representing Empower Families. I got my family with me. We're back. It's been a couple months since we were together. You guys helped me celebrate the 1-year anniversary show, and now we're back with some exciting news about the things you've been doing. So before we do that, let's do a reintroduction. Let the folks know who you are, a little bit about you, and then we'll dive into what you guys have been up to, almost half a year now. With some amazing work. So let's start with introductions first. So, Ontay, I'm going to start with you. Introduce yourself. Remind the folks who you are.
Again, Brother David, thank you for this opportunity. Ontay Johnson is my name. I serve as Executive Director of Empowered Families of Indianapolis. We are building family power through relationships. We're connecting with Indianapolis family. They're helping us co-create, co-craft this model that we're in the process now of implementing and taking action on. So really excited and humbled to be here with you to get a chance to connect with your audience, Brother David. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Delma Suber. I am an outreach coordinator with Empower Families, and ironically, last year during the anniversary, I was a part of the Empower Families Fellowship. So then I was a parent advocate. Since then, I have been hired on to be the outreach coordinator. So what has basically brought me here is my story, is my passion for education and advocating for my own children. And as a result of that, that put me in a position where I can help others advocate for their children. So thank you so much for having me here, David.
Again, and thank both of you. And also, I got to give a special shout out to both of you for supporting and coming out to our back to school night at Tinley Summit on Tuesday.
Oh, that was awesome.
I greatly appreciate it. And Devin, you ran into somebody that you knew. Did I see that?
You know,
wait a minute.
I ran into two people.
Look at that.
I ran into two people. Ironically, I ran into one of the parents I started working with as a parent advocate during the fellowship. And I'm at the table and she said, "You don't remember me." And I'm like looking at her like, no. And then she started telling me how we were connected, and it just overwhelmed me. I literally almost started crying, and I gave her a big hug. I forgot about COVID. I forgot about everything. And it just was a real situation, and it just lets me know I'm in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I was telling somebody I've been at Summit for 5 years. That is by far the biggest turnout for a back to school night we've ever had.
Amazing.
Wow.
Like for real. I mean, it was. I'm like that. We put up a contest, just for the grade level with the most families, and it was hard. It was a couple almost ties, but it was just amazing to see parents come out during that time, not just to meet their child's teacher, but just see the building. Hadn't been in there. Some of them, right? You said in a year and a half, kids that were virtual all of last year, so they hadn't been there since the previous school year in March, and so it was just amazing. So I appreciate you guys putting the table. I know some folks stopped by, had some folks ask me about it. So they're
Did
excited
they?
about it.
A
Yeah,
lot.
they did. They had some folks saying,
Yes.
how can
Yeah.
we do some of this work with our organization at Peak? And I'm just like, well, look, I'm gonna have to bring them in a couple of our sessions, and do some stuff with you all. And for me, I said this before in a year show, but I'm just reminding you, as a school principal, I don't shy away from having parents that are knowledgeable, that are proud and advocates for their child, because that's only going to make our school better. That's only going to make me better as a leader and our teachers better, but it's ultimately going to help kids. And a lot of school leaders would shy away from, putting school leaders, putting parent advocate groups in their schools, because they're like, well, I don't want my parents to know about this or know about that. And I always feel like I'm the opposite, but so I definitely just wanted to make sure I give you guys a shout out and some love for coming through. I definitely appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
No, it was an
you.
amazing time.
It
Parents
was.
were swarming, and I was sharing with the brothers. I said, man, it's so powerful to see you here with your families and getting engaged. I was just sharing one of the little power parent moments I share with the families last week is getting to know the importance of getting to know your child's teacher. I mean, this person will spend, in some instances, more time with your child than you will.
Yeah.
And so it's good to make a connection and know who's speaking into your child's life. It's critical.
And it's good for the teachers to know that child's parent, right? Because it's a different type of relationship when right, when you put a parent face, an adult face with a child's name. So
exactly.
Again, just another powerful experience. So look, the title of the show is Train Up the Parent, Train the Child, right? So this idea of, if we continue to train up and support our parents, we'll ultimately should support, students as well. And so it's been, I got, you guys have been doing a lot of good work the past 6 months, right? And so before we jump into the news, kind of talk about what's been going on the past 6 months. What have you guys been doing? What have you learned? What have you heard? What do the people want?
So listen, David, we spent 6 months connecting, cultivating relationships with Indianapolis families. What was cool about it is we sat down, we asked the families just a few questions around education, right? And we were able to, Delma, as she indicated, she was one of our parent advocates in the community, engaging families, talking to them, learning of their aspirations, their frustrations, and all of the things in between. And they began to, our parent advocates would begin to bring that information back to us. We would synthesize, analyze it, make sense of it. And there were several themes that surfaced as a result of these conversations with families, David, and 4 things that was shared with us. And we had a platform reveal back in May. And let me just pivot really quickly. In April, we released an enrollment report, which was really powerful. If you want to, your audience wants to see that, please visit our website, empoweredfamiliesindy.org. So back to my point. So in May, we had our platform reveal, and this was just telling the story to the Indianapolis community of what families said they want to see and hear us do, things that they want us to take action on. So there were 4 things that families shared with us. They said, we want you all to talk about and delve into school funding. They talked about, we want you all to look at racial equity. They talked about, we want you all to check into community and life skills coaching. We know that if I were to, break down each one of those, when you think about life skills coaching, some families during this pandemic may have lost a job, right? And so they're needing to get back in employment, and they're needing to retool and beef up that resume. So we're able to, while we're not the experts in that space, we are able to connect them with folks that can help them do that. You think about community coaching. one of the things that we want to do, and the community has tasked us, families have tasked us with doing is, hey, teach us what are the resources in our communities. That's one of Delma's job, and she'll talk a little bit more about that later. But what can I do if I may be dealing with a utility issue, or I'm behind on rent as a result of COVID, or all sorts of things? How can Empower Families connect me with the resources that I need so that myself and my children can be successful, right? And then, racial equity. We know that there's a lot of talk around, and I don't even know if I want to delve into that because it has become so polarizing, but having this conversation around our race and what African Americans have brought to the table. A lot of folks don't want to talk about what we've brought to the table, what the contributions that we've made to society, and folk don't want to hear that in the public school setting. We've heard other things and heard other folks, but Black folks have done some, and other people of color have done some amazing things in this country to put it where it is today. So that's a conversation. And then, funding. When you think about funding, depending on where your zip code is where the funding goes or doesn't go. So those are the four pieces that families have shared with us that they want us to take action on. And so that's what we've been doing the last 6 or so months, and so delighted again to have and honored that Delma is who was one of our parent advocates, but now is on the team as our outreach coordinator, and she is doing a phenomenal job. Did I miss anything, Delma, that you want to touch on? Sorry.
You didn't mention education coaching. That was the only one you mentioned.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is perfect because that's going to be part of what our surprise is going to be about. But were you done, Ontay, before I go on?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we want to talk about where we are today, because summer has came and gone, and now the kids are back in school. And as Ontay had mentioned about the needs that our families have expressed over to us over the last 6 months, we wanted to make sure that we didn't forget what they told us. So as a result of that, we have developed the Parent Power Development training meetings. So if you have an opportunity to pull that flyer up.
Yep, I got it.
Thank you.
There it is right here.
Thank you so much.
Should be on the screen. Yep, there you go.
Yes, perfect. So we have been spreading this around like wildfire because we want the community to know that we have not forgotten you. We're still here, and we want to let you know that we want to provide you with all of those things that you said challenge you from your family becoming successful. We want to let you know we want to be here to help you with that. So the Parent Power Development Training is going to be centered on giving parents 10 tips, parenting tips to help their child have a successful school year. David, I heard you mention that before. You said, I'm a principal, but I'm a principal who's not intimidated by parents who have information, but I'm not intimidated by parents who want to advocate. So that's what we want to hear. And we want not just families to attend these meetings. We want teachers to attend. We want principals to attend. We want church leaders to attend. We want all those who have any contact with families to attend. And it doesn't matter if you don't have to be Black. We welcome everybody. We're serving the community. So we also are reaching out to the Latinx community. We are going to have it both Zoom and in person. So we are going to work on having a translator there as well. Another topic that we wanted to talk about is school choice. That taps into that school funding that our parents spoke about, and racial equity. We also want to talk about student IEPs versus 504s. And as a principal, I know you hear about these a lot, and you show up at these meetings a lot. And it may be frustrating for you when you feel like parents are coming in and they're not equipped, they're not prepared. So David, we're going to help you with that, because as a result of you allowing us to come to your back to school, we have connected with over 30 families from that community.
Come on.
30 families.
Come on.
So can you imagine if we get 30 of your families to attend these meetings regularly, what we can do for your school, what we can do for the community?
Yeah.
Listen, that the 10 tips, number one, because this is just like kind of like last year. We don't know what this year will entail. We've obviously seen the numbers, and we've seen how other school districts have shifted to, wearing masks and having it mandated. The idea of school choice, letting parents understand that you have a choice, right? A zip code of your neighborhood doesn't determine. You can send your child to whatever school you feel is going to educate them the best. But that last one, listen, I don't think people understand how parents of students that qualify for an IEP, individual education plan, or have a 504, how if they're in a school that doesn't care about them and doesn't care about their child, how these schools are truly mistreating their child. And it takes a parent who's knowledgeable enough to understand that, wait a minute, no, my child deserves certain supports and services that you aren't providing to be able to advocate that or get somebody to advocate. But we need more parents with students with IEPs and not, but specifically with IEPs, to understand that the rights that they have. So these schools, when needed to be called to the carpet, can be called to the carpet. And I thought I saw on social media that you're going to have a good friend of mine that's going to be doing some of the Penny Gregory. Listen, man. Folks don't know Penny Gregory, man. She's about that life. And so she is a phenomenal educator. And so I saw that. I was like, oh, they done put out the big guns for real. But this is amazing. This is going to be an ongoing thing, I'm assuming. So this is just the first of what's going to be a few. Okay.
It's going to be monthly. And just to share a quick personal note about Miss Penny Gregory. Me and Miss Penny is from Gary. So we're both from Gary. But also, when I was advocating for my own son, I called up Penny. And Penny told me A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I went saying words that I didn't know what they meant. But because Penny told me, I said it. And when I came to that table, those people were looking at me like, this lady either got somebody in her back pocket or she knows somebody in another pocket. I had Penny Gregory in my back pocket.
Yes.
So I want to be able to prepare parents that you can have a Penny Gregory. You can be the Penny Gregory. So this is very important that we have these meetings monthly throughout the school year, because what we want to do is support parents, train them, but also come alongside them as a parent throughout the school year.
So we have the date right. And again, this is for the folks that are watching live, but we'll listen to this later. It is Tuesday, August 24th. At the 38th Street, shout out to the 38th Street Library, real quick.
It is a beautiful library. It's a beautiful library.
Absolutely, but that's 6 to 7 p.m. And again, if you can't make it in person, right? And so I'm speaking to those that for whatever reason can't make it in person. You might still be at work, right? But you can put something in your ear. It'll also be a virtual option as well. So we encourage you to visit the website. Do folks have to register for the event, or how does that work?
I'm glad you asked. So if they're attending the Zoom, they need to register for that. So they can pre-register for that. And matter of fact, we've already had some people that have already registered for the Zoom.
Good. So, and again, if you want to check that out, go to the website. Is www.empowered, that's EMPOWERED, familiesindy.org. That's empoweredfamiliesindy.org. So go to the website, check out all the amazing resources. Also, that report is up there. I showed a little clip of that, but also to register for the Zoom link. But listen, folks, if you're able and you're comfortable about being in the space, I encourage you to come out to the 38th Street Library. I'm gonna definitely be there. I'm gonna remind some of my families. It's gonna be in the summit newsletter on Sunday, and it's gonna be a constant reminder. I'm gonna make sure I print this flyer and share it. But I already know you already connected with 30 families who said something to me the next day about they about to get trained. So I already know I got some families on my own that's gonna attend, but definitely gonna remind some more. But I encourage others, So if you are a parent, or you know a parent, if you are playing in the role of a parent, I encourage you to come. If you know someone that can benefit from this, definitely check this out. Listen, parent power development training. Like I said, like the title of the show says, you train up the parent,
Yeah.
you can train up the child. And so we want to make sure
Exactly.
that we definitely equip our parents. This is amazing. I cannot.
David, if I could just jump in and
Yeah.
say something, and we want to do our best to block, prevent any type of challenges in terms of families getting to the facility. Let us know. Reach out to us on social media. Reach out to us. Delma provided her card. Reach out to our office. Go to our website. Let us know if it's a challenge for you to attend. Maybe a bus pass is needed, or whatever we can do. Child care. We're going to have some folks on staff there looking out for your child and children with some crayons and some things to keep them engaged, as well as we're going to provide food for that night. So we're trying to block, prevent any type of barriers that may hinder mom and dad from being there because of, and I know it's in the evening, got to get kids, in the bed, getting them prepared, homework, those sorts of things. But just come spend this hour with us. We won't be long, but we will be strong on that night. I just wanted to mention that. Just don't want any type of hindrances for our first, what we're calling PPD trainings.
I love it. I love it. Again, and again, if you're going to attend and you are able, and you know someone that wants to attend that can't, be a bridge, be a carpool, bring somebody with you. I encourage anybody, just bring another person with you. Don't come alone.
Yeah.
Don't hog this information. Bring somebody else that can attend. And to my teacher friends, the educator friends that's going to be there, I definitely encourage you to attend. It's a great way to just connect with families, for the families to see you in a different light. And to my fellow school leaders, listen, my challenge to my school leader friends who I know will listen to this live and later and clips of this, my challenge to you is invite 5 to 10 families, right? If we can do that, my Far East Side crew, the schools out there on the East Side is right by us, so we could definitely get 5 families from our school. And if we do that, times 10 schools, right, we're looking at 50 parents, and if we can do that, we can drastically change our schools and our community and ultimately our city. So again, it's open to all families. And I think Ms. Delma, you mentioned it, right? It's not just catered to parents of color, but open to all. And so it's a free training. You can't be free.
That's right. That's
Come on.
right.
And like you said, and like I said,
free.
Ain't gonna be long, but it's gonna be strong. So make sure you definitely attend.
I like
this is amazing. Yeah, I like that. So
Yeah.
definitely gonna be amazing. So any other exciting news you want to share with the folks? You got something brewing for them?
Yeah, we got some cool things brewing. I wish I could share it right now, but I can't. Tonight, the big news is our PPDs. We do have some partners that has come alongside us to assist families. I will mention those names at a later date, but there are some folks in our community that will be investing in this, in our families, in this project, in Empowered Families, as we're looking to really transform families. Super excited about that. People are really engaging with us and wanting to learn more on how, because the family is the foundation of the community.
Come on.
Right. And so if we build, to your point, if we empower parents, we're empowering the children. If we train the parents, we're training the children. So it's really a way to really build all of us, because we're living in some turbulent times. We all see the news and different things that's happening. And so if we can lock arms, come together, You bring your tools. I bring my tools. Delma bring her tools, and others bring them. And together, man, we can create some impactful things for our babies. So, this is an exciting time. But yes, there are some other things that we will be releasing and launching this fall. So you'll hear more about that. But we're in conversations with some folks that's ready to do some game changing things for our family. So I am super excited about this, but I can't get into it right now.
Listen.
I'm sorry, man. I can't get into it. But when you hear about it, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God!" Yes.
Just leave us on the edge of our seat. It's always, I'm still listen. Those that watch, TV series, right? Whether it's Power. That left me on the edge of my seat. Gotta wait the whole season. you know how it is, right? When the season finale happens, you gotta wait a whole year to see what happens.
Yeah.
But then when you get it, it's worth the wait. It is worth the wait, right? And so that's how we feeling. But before I let you go, I want to talk about this. I want to ask you all this. So I invited you all to my back to school night, and not honestly totally unsure about the crowd, right? But when the crowd comes, right, and you give them these resources, my question is, okay, what's next? Because I can't just be like, all right, here's this. I got to do something next for. So what advice? Again, this is me asking for advice from me and other school leaders and other educators. What now? So we introduced families to you. What do we need to do to make sure that we continue to keep families engaged with that advocacy? Because that's the first start, right? Exposing them to what's out there, expose them to the training. So we get parents to attend the trainings. We get parents to visit your website, to reach out to you. What else? What should be the next step that we do after we do the exposure piece as a school to keep our families engaged?
I would say there are a number of things. Did I step over you, Delma? Go ahead, Delma. Then I'll jump in.
You go ahead.
All right. So as we have, to your point, we're having these monthly parent power development meetings, right? So that's one piece. We're going to be out canvassing communities as well. Again, there are some other things that are brewing that I can't share right now, but they will be game changers for families. I guarantee you that. The other thing that I think is important, David, is how do we make ourselves available for parents at your school? You talked about the PEAK program. How do we make ourselves available for those type of connections? Because we had so much fun the other night connecting with our babies, connecting with their families. I would love to do more of that, where we're I don't know if it's monthly or bi-weekly.
It's monthly.
But we're locking arms to really have some conversations with families on like this, real issues that they're challenged with. The IEPs, when I think about the IEP, someone shared something with me that I'm not an educator. And so some of these things I just didn't know, but they spoke about how, so say for instance, the parent and the, school leader or teacher or whatever have had the conversation, right? And the parent leave that meeting thinking that, hey, we're all set. We've come to a resolution. And my child is on his or her way. Well, what I found, and I know Delma knows a lot more about this than I do, but what I was told was that those IEP things can travel and stay in on a child's within a child's record. So mom, dad thinking, we dealt with that back when they were in the third or fourth, and now he's in the ninth and he's in a different school, and some red flags are still there. Is that a thing? Does that occur? Does that happen? And so, as I'm having this conversation, my mouth just dropped like, wow, so really unpacking that IEP, unraveling, all of these things that happen that parents deal with. So we really want, I know this is a long way of saying it, but we really want to as one of our parent advocates say, really want to put our hands into the soil of the community. And when you think about soil, you got to get dirty if you want to put if you want to put your hands in the community. You got to get dirty. You got to get in there and to make some challenge to make some changes. So, anyways, Delma, I'm sure you had some other things to share as well.
Just adding on what you're saying is that that's a good question that you asked, David. And what do? We got them to this point. So how do we basically keep them nurtured until the next big event? So I think what Empower Families wants to do is nurture those relationships, build them, and keep them on a continuum so they can become a member of Empower Families. And that membership also means that we're turning them into an advocate. Okay. So we are equipping them with the skills that now they can be their own parent advocate, and then they can start having meetings in a community center, and then we can support them. So the thing is, we wanted to keep coming, we wanted to keep developing, but we don't want them to just be like, okay, they giving me all this information. Now what? Where am I going? Okay, now you're a parent advocate. Now we want to develop you, and we want you to start partnering with Principal McGuire. And we want you, whatever skill set you have, you can bring it to his school or another school, and you can start supporting them and doing the same thing. So that's the thing. We want to ignite the fire that we already know that's within, but we also want to keep flaming it so that it can catch on to the schools, the community, and hopefully change our world. This is where it begins.
Yeah.
I love it. I appreciate that. And listen, we are at the end, but let me tell you something. The parent power development training, we said PPD, is that it? PPD, man. Listen, Tuesday, August 24th is 6 to 7 at the East 38th Street Library. Again, if you can, I encourage you to be there in person. Bring somebody with you. If you can't, that's okay. Register on the website. Register for the virtual event. Put it in your earphones if you at work, right? Share it with somebody. Get those tips. Learn about school choice, and also learn about the difference between IEP and 504s and all those resources. So again, I appreciate the two of you, not just for Tuesday, but for tonight. Listen, I only come out for the next 5-6 months. I say I'm only coming out with the Recess podcast if it's something good. I got because I'm leading the school. I have to make sure that I got a good foundation with that before I start doing the weekly shows again. But when I do pop out, it's gonna be for a good reason, and this definitely was a good reason. So
Thank you.
I appreciate each of you. And again, to learn more about Empower Families, visit their website, Empowered Families. That's EMPOWERED. That's familiesindy.org. That empoweredfamiliesindy.org. Check out that report. Check out the PPD on Tuesday, the 24th, and all the other great things. And Ms. Delma dropped something in there about being a member. That was something new to me. So you just kind of sprinkle that in there. So again, visit the website, check out the things for a membership. And again, make sure you check out the training and be on the lookout, because Ontay then left us on the edge of our seat for some big news. So just make sure you look. Listen, when you listening to this afterwards, they just gave me the Birdman hand rub, which means it's something good.
Yes,
that's
sir.
brewing. So make sure you check it out. And again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. As I always say, Recess Podcast, create the platform, control the conversation, change the culture. I don't know when y'all gonna see me again, but you'll see me again. But until then, man, peace and blessings, everybody.
Thank you.